Hello everyone and welcome back to Put It To TSET, and today we are looking at the 1992 toy line series known as Snailiens. Now if you've never heard of Snailiens before, never fear, because you and many other people are all on the same boat and have no idea what the freaking hell a Snailien is. That's a Snailien. Yes, folks, these little yellow rubber professional wrestling looking things are Snailiens. Snail aliens from outer space. And yeah, this line was launched in 1992, I presume off the back of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles whatever craze. But it wasn't just these small rubber figures, no. They come in their own little armour, and you know, this pops off, it just snaps together. Ultimately the small pegs will eventually snap off and be broken. But yeah, there was unsurprisingly 4 of the characters, each with their own armour. And yeah, you couldn't get more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you tried. Just trying to call them Snailiens and give them their own unique armours, it wasn't quite the ticket, unfortunately. As you can see, I've only got a small selection of the armour. Most of mine are lost, snapped and broken. But never mind, you know, it's the general idea of what you was expecting with these. And, yeah, interesting idea, neat little design. But, obviously, this wasn't enough to sell to kids. You know, young boys, yeah, they're going to like the little figures and the armour. That's nice and neat, but of course, you can't just have that as a selling point. No, all of these also came with their own snail mates. These small little, well, they're meant to be snails, but I don't know if you could account them as snails. And yeah, they each had a friend, basically. And yeah, what they originally did was they came with a small rubber shell that basically Let's read the Snailien instruction manual, shall we? The handbook. Important, read carefully before use. The operations manual. I feel like I've just bought something Chinese off eBay. Congratulations, you are now officially inducted into the rank of Sonic Shell Fighters and can now stop the resistance to stop the intergalactic invasion of Earth. Oh yeah, forgot to mention. They didn't just do the superheroes. No, they had the villains as well, the Lunatics. And of course, they too come with their own little buddies, these known as the infects, basically horrible little insects that have been infected by whatever, I don't know. There is a story, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, yes, here's the deal, right? So you have these turbo flex shells. Do you remember those small rubber domes that when you bend them in, they snap and they fly a million miles into the air? Basically, you had big rubber solid things of those. And the idea is that you'd put the snail mates inside, pull it back, and thwick them, and they would fly miles up into the air. And they also come with similar sort of projectile things as well that you can launch at each other as well. Basically, this was designed to take eyes out. What else we got? You can attach the shells to the backs, and you can attach the snail mates to the armour as well. Because nothing says intimidating like being carried around like a small child on someone else's body armour. So yeah, this is Snailiens, and this is what's left of my collection. They mostly got stuck into being used as, you know, in my Monster Wrestling Federation League, which is a thing, Monster Wrestling in my pocket. And these ones got placed in with my Lego, creating small Bomberman style stages, because that was the thing I was into at the time. But I suppose I can't just leave it with my small ragtag collection of what remains. No, I went and spent an exorbitant amount of money to get something brand new in packet because I'm sad and on the internet. So here we are, Snailiens, the Supersonic Shell Fighters. Ages 5 and up. Caution, do not shoot directly at the face. Do not place foreign objects in shell. Use shell only with small characters and small balls provided. Don't be putting your small balls in the shell. Bad idea. It contains a comic book, 2 trading cards, an operations manual as well, which we've already had a good look through. Very nice. 2-way turbo flex action. taken out of context. I think, no, we're not worried about it. Anyway, ready, load, fire. So yeah, doing the same diagrams we saw and how to launch them. 1 power bounce shell with snail mate or on its own. 2 power shoot shell shots 30 feet, blah blah blah. Warning, small parts may be hazardous to children under 3 years of age. Ages 5 and up. Under 3 years of age, 5 and up. 3 years of age. I'm going to get out with this joke. So, yes, here we have a Washington and Sparks. Washington Sparks, the armour. This is the power dome, and these are the 2 bullets. It says shoots 30 feet, but everything sort of come unstuck in packaging in transit. So, on the back, very nice and bright. You can see why me as a child would have gone, yes, I must have these things. There's a small backstory here, but we'll get to a better one later. Nice illustrations. I have to say, the illustrations are rather good. The company that made this, actually, Abrams Gentile Entertainment, they did a lot of good stuff. They were basically the successor to the Mego brand, and they produced things like Sky Dancers and Dragonflies, and probably seen the Visionaries line as well. They also did some interesting TV collaborations like the Vampires and Sumo. But they're probably best well known for having designed the Nintendo Power Glove. Yes, that is the company that designed the Nintendo Power Glove. So they've got, a bit of force behind them. And, nice idea, interesting. We've got ourselves a little description of our main Snailian, and then our little snail mate. And the collection that you can own. Oh, as you can tell, I didn't own all of them, but that's a shame. But it's still, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on a budget, essentially, except it's aliens instead of mutations. I guess I'm going to have to open this now, aren't I? Oh boy, I've spent far too much money on this damn thing. Let's get it going. Let's get it open. Try not to damage the packaging, because... Oh, collectors are crying everywhere. Let's just take the stuff out the bottom, though. Let's just start with this. So we've got ourselves a little insert, which I don't think is meant to be anything, but I did collect these and then eventually throw them out, which is, one of those things. Also got yourself a nice little packet with all these little things in, which is really neat. Adding more for your money. I don't know how much they retail for. God knows how much I paid for them. I'm sure they must have been a tenner at one point, but I must have got them for cheaper. So you got yourself a trading card for Washington. And there you go. You've got the description on there on the back as well. I'll try and get that out of the light so you can see. But, nice little trading card. And then again, you got another one for Sparks here. It's neat. It adds flavour to, your playtime, especially considering you've got no idea who it is. I presume this was going to be a TV series as well. Brand new mint operations manual. Very nice, very nice. And probably the best thing that I've ever seen in these, or ever will see, the collector's edition Snailiens comic #1. Now this thing is incredible. Oh, it's fantastic. Haha, fantastic. Ticks, lunatics. I won't have time to go over this, but I will have to do a dramatic reading of this comic, which isn't really a comic, it's more of just a picture book. But yeah, I will definitely have to do a dramatic reading of this for you. In fact, I'll probably link that in the description below. There were 2 things that never produced. The Snailian vehicles that were meant to come out in '93, I don't think ever got made. The aforementioned Escargot, the good guy's vehicle spaceship, and the Snail Star, which looks like it should be a good guy's vehicle, but I would have presumed it would have been the bad guy's vehicle. I could be wrong, but yeah, this is my childhood right there. I had 6 of those because I had 6 of the figures. Stand up, for God's sakes, you. Right, let's finish getting this out so I can show you the rest of the actual toys.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
So as you've seen before, this is the Washington figure. It's a small rubber thing. It's quite flexible, really, in its own right. Not a lot of paint on it, but what does make it really pop, he's coming away a bit on his bum, but we won't worry about that. It's a nice little thing, not too terrible. And it also comes with his power armor, which, you know, really nicely detailed. Lots of paint, you know. It's cheap, hollow plastic, but then it is just armor which will just come up. Oh god, I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it. Oh, I'm not going to take it apart. You know how it comes apart. I've got the old one, but yeah, basically that sits on and clips around him and stays on him quite nicely, which, you know, removes the flexibility in the legs, but, you know, small trade-off. But it's rather nice. I mean, you know, I think I might have got this around the time Power Rangers was becoming a thing, so, you know, small armour with lots of detail. It looks almost samurai-like. It's everything a small boy would ever want in a toy. Taking a closer look at Sparks here. These are small, again, rubber, slightly flexible. A bit more detail and a bit more paint on these, but, you know, they're quite neat. Unfortunately, I don't think these would survive very long, because the idea is you're meant to have these shell dome things and meant to launch them from these. Now, unfortunately, all of mine of these perished, basically. The rubber on them just sort of died over a few years. And oh yeah, they're as stiff as I remember them being. Oh, as a child, this was a nightmare to play with, and the little rods in them would come out, and oh, they're vicious. They're vicious. Yeah, they're as nasty as I remember them. Fantastic. So, basically, the idea was, if I remember rightly, you'd get these very soft, very hollow rubber things, and you'd place them inside. And I think the idea is you're meant to fire them. I'm not very good at that. Or then you get the snail mate, and you put them inside, and then you. Oh, this is going to be painful. You've got them in there, right? Clear some space, lads. Clear some space. We're going to launch into space. No lights above me. We're going to be all right. Oh, Jesus Christ. And, yeah, let's just put a hole in the ceiling. But, yeah, that's basically what Snailiens is, and... Oh, I don't know. But for those of you complaining they don't look like snails, is because, you know, it was supposed to... There you go. There's the shell attached to the armour. That's meant to make it more snail-like. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was a small look at Snailiens, the supersonic shell fighters. A toy brand launched in 1992 to combat the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles that just got bunged off to cheap market stores that sold all kinds of bootleg knockoff gear.